So the internet's been buzzing the last couple of days with allegations that Steve Harvey's wife's been cheating on him. I usually don't talk about these things, relationships. I'm not a relationship expert. I don't get involved in the red pill, blue pill, high value, low value garbage. It's all just total nonsense. It's like guys don't have better topics to talk about, so they have to talk about the same garbage every single day. So, Steve Harvey, his wife Marjorie, she's 58 years old, and the rumor spread on Twitter that she slept with Steve's security guard and private chef. He does two jobs for Steve. Here's my take on this. Right? She's denying it adamantly that she didn't cheat and it's just a rumor. She's putting scriptures online. How to handle being lied about from the Bible. When they hurled their insults at him, he did not retaliate. When he suffered, he made no threats. Instead, he entrusted himself to him who judges justly. Chapter 1, Peter, verse 2-23. Here's my take on this whole thing. Let's just say that Steve's wife cheated on him. Right? How is this a reflection on Steve? All these lame men, as soon as this happened, you see all these men in the comment section like, oh, Steve is a sucker and Steve is all these things. And, he's telling men how to, handle their wives and his wife is out cheating on him. I really can't stand men these days with their garbage. Like, they'll just make up any excuse to not treat their girlfriend or wife well, right? Oh, well, I shouldn't treat her well because she's definitely going to go out there and cheat on me. Then why are you talking to her? Then why'd you marry her? Then then you shouldn't even talk to the woman. And I guess what I'm trying to say is when you treat somebody well, like Steve treating his wife well is a reflection of Steve, who he is as a human being, right? I'm not saying he doesn't treat her well because she's a good woman. I'm not saying that she's not a good person. I don't know their relationship at all. But when you treat somebody well, that's a reflection of you. That's a reflection of who you are. And if Steve's wife went out and cheated on him, then that's a reflection of her. So all these men that are just jealous because this guy is super rich, paid, successful, and he does give a lot of relationship advice. Right away the internet goes on fire and everybody's making fun of him and saying all these negative things about him. Okay, even if she did cheat, this is a reflection of him. He did something wrong. This is a reflection of her. The only thing that I'll say that I don't agree with what Steve Harvey did is he married somebody that is not as successful as him. And the internet always talks about these kind of things like, well, men don't care how much money a woman makes. Like women always want men to be ultra successful, but it's okay if they worked in McDonald's, right? I mean, here's my thing with that. A woman that is not afraid to get her hands dirty, that works in McDonald's or just has a job, period, shows you what type of character she has. Because a lot of women feel they deem themselves pretty and they think that they don't have to work, right? They think that, oh, I don't have to work. I think I'm pretty. That's what I have to offer the world. I'm just pretty and I'm young and I don't need to offer anything else. And again, I'm not a relationship expert. I don't get into any of this. This is not my I don't like it. It's just a garbage topic if you ask me. Those are the types of women that you just stay away from. If you talk to a woman and she can't tell you where she works in 45 seconds, I don't care what she looks like, you need to run in the opposite direction as fast as you can. And don't look back and don't even think back. These are the worst types of human beings on the planet. So I feel the only mistake that Steve made was he married a woman who isn't as successful as him. He married down, as they call down these days, because it's less money. And I guess I agree with that to some degree. That I don't care about titles. I don't care if you're a doctor or a lawyer, if you work at McDonald's. I'm not that type of. I don't care if you work in a gas station. I'm going to treat you the same whether you worked in Burger King or you're a neurosurgeon. I will treat you the same exact way. So I don't care about titles. But when you get to Steve's level, and you have trillions of dollars, he's I don't want to say trillions. I'm exaggerating, but you get it. He's close to billions of dollars. He's close to $1 billion, the guy. When you get to that level, you really need to think about who you're going to marry, because he's married to her. And, the court system these days is definitely geared against men. And if they ever got divorced, I really hope he has a prenup, or he's going to lose half of everything that he's ever worked for. And it's ridiculous. She wants to be in the relationship with him. He takes great care of her. So that's my only knock on Steve is, this isn't a normal guy that has a normal job. He has access to women that most men don't, as far as like celebrities and really successful women. So I feel that that's his only mistake. I'll give you an example. On Christmas, I went to this fancy restaurant and I had a younger waiter. And I guess maybe because I was just dressed, whatever, had a sweater on, jeans, nothing too crazy. And I think that he just assumed that I wasn't going to tip well, so he kind of had an attitude, and the service was okay. So it was just, he was just being a jerk, some put it simply. But me leaving him a very nice tip on Christmas isn't a reflection of his service. Now, I was going to leave... I should say it like this. Let's say I was going to give you a generous tip, no matter what. And then if your service was well, then you would get a very, very generous tip. But the bottom line is he got a generous tip, regardless that he didn't treat me well, and he didn't by any stretch of the imagination. That's not a reflection of me being a sucker. That's a reflection of me, who I am. It's Christmas. I'm sure he doesn't want to be working. I don't know what his problems are, and I really don't care. Now, if he would have been a lot more polite, and, the service was somewhat better, I don't mean he had to have a 20-minute conversation with me. That's not what I mean. He didn't even have to speak to me whatsoever. I didn't need a Merry Christmas, none of that. He just seemed annoyed that he had to wait on me. He just seemed like whatever. And said he got a generous tip, but if his attitude was different, he would have got a very, very generous tip. And that's my example. That's a reflection of who I am. It doesn't matter what other people do. I'm going to do what I think is correct, and I'm going to carry myself with class. I'm going to carry myself with dignity. And just because somebody doesn't know how to carry themselves doesn't mean I'm going to stoop to their level. And that's what you got to remember about Steve. Even if his wife cheated on him, it's not a reflection of him. It's a reflection of her. He's doing his part. He's acting like a man. I guess the new term in 2023 is he's simping. He's not simping over anybody. He's not to simp over any female whatsoever. So put that ridiculous, stupid term to the side and just knock it off, please. But all men could learn a lesson from Steve Harvey. He's very polite. He gives good advice. He's a godly man. He takes care of his family. He's trying to do the right thing with his wife. And as a man, you should show the guy nothing but respect. And if you're a man that is a penny pincher or doesn't like to buy their girlfriend anything or wife or doesn't like to take them anywhere, that's a reflection of you. That's a reflection of you being a selfish jerk. So don't put Steve in that category. Steve is a very decent human being from what I see. So stop wishing bad things about him. To him, I should say. You're like a lot of the internet, oh, you see, Steve, this is what you get. You deserve it. Don't wish that upon the guy. He's a good person. Again, it's not a reflection of him, what she allegedly did. So remember to subscribe to Fortis Money.